Verdade. Okay, hi everyone. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I always forget to say this, but if you want to play your own music, feel free to do so. We're just not able to because when these videos go on YouTube, it'll get copyrighted and stuff like that. So definitely feel free to do that. We're gonna start in Saptavada Konasana today. So butterfly on your back. So soles of the feet together, knees come out wide to each corner of the mat. Gently lowering the spine down onto the mat, maybe placing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Taking a moment to get grounded here. Just breathing normally as you would. Maybe taking a moment to notice your breath. How is it today? Is it choppy? I think we breathe about like 20,000 times a day. So anytime we take a moment to notice the breath, it's a beautiful thing. All right, so we're gonna start to think of an intention. So that can be a word, a phrase, or a mantra that you want to focus, center your practice around today. So anytime the practice gets more difficult, challenging, anytime the breath gets choppy or our mind wanders, we come back to this intention. And in that moment, we'll be brought back to the present moment. So sealing in something, some intention, word, phrase, or mantra with an inhale. As we exhale, we'll sigh that out of the mouth. Let that go. Nice, we'll take 2 more deep cleansing breaths together. So inhaling in through the nose, biggest, deepest breath of the day, filling up all the way to your belly. Nice, and then as we exhale, we'll sigh that out. Let that stale air go in the bottoms of our lungs. Nice, we'll take 1 more together. So inhaling in through the nose. Pausing at the top, sucking in a little bit more air. And then exhale, sighing that out. Okay, so maybe now starting to tap into that Ujjayi breathing. So inhaling in and out of the nose. Maybe slightly constricting the back of the throat on the exhale, making that ocean-like sound. Nice, we'll slowly begin to bring our knees together. Soles of the feet stay on the ground. So we're gonna come into reclined pigeon to start off. You can go ahead and bring your right ankle on top of your left quad, and then gently lift up your left leg. So reaching behind, grabbing the outside of your thigh. Nice, you can take your right arm in between that little triangle between the legs. Nice, maybe interlacing the hands and then letting the shoulders come back down to the ground. This is too much for you, maybe letting off a bit. If you want to go a little deeper, maybe grabbing a hold on the outsides of the shin. Nice, and keeping that steady breathing here. Getting into the hips right away today. We'll be here for about 3 or 4 more deep breaths. On your next exhale, go ahead and release that bind, bringing that left leg back to 90 degrees. We're gonna let the legs fall over towards that left side. So trying to get right sole of the foot flat on the ground. If you need to grab hold of the outside of the right foot with your left palm, feel free to do so. Nice, maybe taking your right arm out, maybe gaze goes over towards the right, finding a spinal twist here. Nice, and then gently bringing your legs back to center, keeping the bind as it is. Coming to our last posture with this bind, bringing your left heel as close to the glutes as you can, placing your palms flat down on the mat. We're gonna lift up into a bridge here. So if you can keep the bind of the legs, keep them. If you can't, you can release that leg. Or maybe if you want to, just send it up to the sky, that right leg. Nice, hips are going up towards the sky. Nice, starting to engage our core here. Getting a small back bend here. We'll be here for about 2 more breaths. And then next exhale, releasing the hips down to the mat. Maybe windshield wipering the legs side to side. Nice, and then setting up for our left side. So bringing that right sole of the foot down to the ground, bringing the left ankle on top of that right leg. Nice, finding the bind here, and then making our way to our reclined pigeon. Maybe interlacing the hands underneath the right leg. Maybe on top of the right shin. Nice, and then feeling whatever, or sitting into whatever posture feels good to you. Maybe slowly rocking your body side to side, massaging low back. If you need more of a sensation, you can always put or slide that left leg over a little bit, so it's more like your shin on top of the right quad. And so we'll be here for about 4 more deep breaths. Getting into the outside of that left hip maybe. Maybe taking small circles with the ankles, starting to open up those joints. Nice, and then gently releasing the bind of the hands, keeping the bind of the legs, slowly letting those legs fall over towards that right side. Maybe left sole of the foot comes flat on the ground. We grab the outside of that left foot with the right palm. Maybe gaze goes out towards the left. Left arm comes out into a T. We'll be here for about 2 more deep breaths. Slowly making our way back to center. Setting up for our bridge pose, so placing that right sole of the foot down to the ground, maybe keeping the bind of the legs. Starting to place the palms down on the ground. We'll lift up through the hips, coming into our bridge here. Keeping the bind of the legs, maybe extending that left leg up towards the sky. If this is too much for you, releasing that foot down to the ground. Nice, we'll be here for 3 more deep breaths. And last one. Slowly lowering the hips down to the ground, windshield wipering the legs side to side. Nice, bringing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug. Beginning to roll front and back. Starting to build up a little bit of momentum. We're gonna make our way all the way into a forward fold. So whatever gets you there. Nice, folding over those legs, bending the knees as much as you need to so your chest is on top of the quads. Nice, about 2 or 3 fist distance in between your legs, grabbing opposite elbows. We'll begin to rock the body side to side for ragdoll. Making sure we're keeping that ujjayi breathing here. Nice, next inhale, peeking up halfway, maybe heel toeing the feet together. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, rising up 1 vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up to stand. Head is the last thing that comes up. Nice, bringing shoulders up and back, or down and back. Nice, inhaling, palms up overhead, gaze goes up. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, peeking up, a little bit different this time. We exhale, we'll sit down into this squat, tucking everything into a tight little ball. So tucking your chin to chest. Nice, inhaling, halfway lifting, extending through the legs. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, root to rise, palms come up overhead. Interlacing the fingers, releasing the index fingers. Nice, inhaling, lengthening through the spine. As we exhale, we'll lean over towards that right side, keeping the chest open here. Nice, inhaling back up to center, and exhaling over towards the left. Inhaling back up to center. Cactusing the arms or feel toes rolling the arms, sending your head back. Nice, inhaling back up to center, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lifting, palms come to shin, and exhale, tucking into that tight little ball. Nice, next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, root to rise, palms come up overhead. Nice, this time we'll open up towards the left or the right side of the mat, keeping our hips and our hips squared off to the front of the mat. So just opening up the palms, maybe gaze goes back towards that right hand. Nice, coming back up to center on the inhale and exhaling over towards the right. You can't see me, but nice, inhaling back up to center and exhale, folding forward. Nice, inhale, halfway lifting, and exhale, tucking into that tight little ball. Nice, inhale, halfway lifting, palms come to shin. As we exhale, we'll plant the palms down to the mat, step our left foot back, and then our right plank. Nice, inhale, shifting forward onto the tops of your toes. If you need to here, or maybe it's your first time, you want to lower the knees down to the ground, that's perfectly fine. We're gonna take 3 yogi push-ups. Nice, so we'll lower down halfway on the exhale. Inhaling back up. Nice, exhale, lowering down. Inhaling back up. This time, exhale, lowering down. As we inhale, we'll spill our chest through for upward facing dog or cobra if your knees are on the ground. So just palms and tops of feet are on the ground. Nice, as we exhale, we'll send our hips back for downward facing dog. Nice, maybe pedaling out the feet, whatever feels good. We'll take a few breaths here. So getting strong in this down dog, making sure we're not dumping into the palms or through the shoulders, we're pushing out. Nice, it's an upside down V, energetically pulling our heels down to the ground, sending our chest back to the tops of the thighs, bending your knees here if you need to. Nice, we'll take those walks. So inhaling that right leg up for 3-point, keeping our hips squared off to the mat. Our pinky toe is pointing down to the mat. Nice, as we exhale, we'll place that foot directly in front of our left, so shortening this down dog. And then inhaling that left leg up for 3-point. Nice, exhaling that left foot down in front of the right. Nice, so just giving a stretch to the back of the legs. Take as many or as few steps to the top of the mat as you want. We're gonna meet in our forward fold. So I've been doing this a lot in my classes. It feels really nice. Nice, and then whenever you're ready, bending through the knees as much as you need to. Nice, meeting in that forward fold. We'll inhale, halfway lift, heel toeing the feet together, rising all the way up to our fierce pose. So bending through the knees, maybe palms touch, maybe gaze goes up. Palms can be apart, palms can be out in front of you if you want, it's whatever feels good. Your mobility might look a little different than mine. Nice, we'll be here for a few breaths. So engaging our bandhas here, pulling up on our pelvic floor to take a little bit of the curve out of that spine, sucking our navel to our spine for our Mula and Uddiyana bandhas. Nice, taking one more inhale here. And exhale, folding forward. Nice inhale, peeking up halfway. As we exhale, we'll step our left foot back, coming into our warrior one. So left foot goes to 45 degrees. Nice right leg bends, hips stay squared off to the front of the mat. Inhaling, palms up overhead. Maybe palms touch. Maybe gaze goes up. Maybe find a slight back bend here. Nice, staying here for one more inhale. We exhale, we'll lift up that back foot, set our back knee down to the ground. We sink into our low crescent lunge. Nice, making sure we aren't poking our ribs out. So inhaling here. We exhale, we'll begin to fold over that right leg for our half splits. Staying here for a few breaths. Inhale, peeking up, halfway lifting, beginning to straighten or place the right toes on the ground as best you can, so it's a little bit different stretch. We're peeking up halfway still, finding length in the spine. Nice, and then we're gonna make our way into kind of an IT band stretch, so bringing that left palm on the outside of that right leg, beginning to walk your palms over towards the right side of the mat. You can lift up those toes if it feels good. You can let them fall over towards the right side of the mat. Nice, so the bottom of our foot is kind of parallel to the top of our mat. Nice, and just beginning to walk your palms over towards the right side of the mat. Nice, and then slowly beginning to make your way back. This will bend into that right knee. Nice, pick up the back knee, tuck those left toes underneath. Nice, and then step that left foot up to meet the right. Next inhale, we rise up for our chair pose, fierce pose. Nice, inhaling here, sinking a little bit lower, reaching a little bit higher. Taking one more inhale. And then as we exhale, we'll fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Then exhale, send our right leg back. Right foot comes to 45. Heels are in line with each other. We bend through that left leg and reach up for our warrior one. Nice, maybe palms come to touch, maybe gaze goes up. Staying here for a few more breaths. The next exhale, picking up that back heel, setting that back knee down to the ground, sitting into our low crescent lunge. Nice, inhaling here and exhaling, straightening through for our half splits. Maybe you have blocks on each side of the legs here. You can use books too, those work well. Anything to give you a little bit more height, bring the floor a little bit closer to you. Nice, we'll halfway lift on the inhale, beginning to straighten through that top of the, or that left foot. Nice, so kind of feeling a stretch through the top of the foot. And then slowly making our way to this IT band stretch. So you can let the knife edge side of the foot come to the ground, so it's kind of parallel to the top of the mat, sole of the foot is. And then walk your hands over towards the left side of the mat. Making sure to engage through your left leg here, engaging the quad, protecting the hamstrings. Flexing that foot. Nice, we'll be here for one more breath. And then slowly walking your palms back to the top of the mat, bending through that left leg, tucking your right toes underneath and stepping your right foot up to meet the left. We'll inhale, halfway lift. As we exhale, we'll find Uttanasana. So taking your peace fingers, wrapping them around your big toes, we'll halfway lengthen through the spine. As we exhale, we bend the knees as much as we need to. We let the arms go to each corner of the mat. Nice, maybe one day your head is in between your shins. Finding some rounding in the spine here. Nice, inhale, halfway lifting. heel toeing the feet together. As we exhale, planting those palms down on the mat, stepping your left foot back and your right foot back. Heel ups again. Inhale on the tops of toes. Exhale, lower down halfway. Inhaling back up, high plank. Exhale, lowering down halfway. Inhaling back up. Last one, exhaling down halfway. Nice, inhaling through to our upward facing. And exhaling the legs or the hips back to our downward facing dog. Nice, taking a few breaths here, maybe pedaling out the feet. We'll take a cleansing breath together. So inhaling in through the nose and exhaling, sighing something out, letting that go. Nice, getting into our first flow. We'll extend our right leg up for 3-point. Nice, making sure the hips are nice and squared off. Pinky toe is facing down towards the mat. We'll bring our knee to nose for cheetah. So rolling forward on those left toes. Nice, hugging into a tight little ball. And then extending it back out long for 3-point. Nice, bringing that right foot in between the palms for a low runner's lunge. Nice, so palms are framing that front foot. Starting to get light on those palms, spinning your back foot to about 90 degrees. Our front heel is in line with our back instep. Nice, now taking my right forearm to the top of the quad, we'll open up for our side angle. Our extended side angle here. So maybe the left arm is shooting directly out of that left shoulder. Maybe we begin to streamline it overhead. Our gaze, our drishti follows that left palm. Making sure we're not dumping into that right leg. Be here for one more breath. And then slowly beginning to rise up, straightening through that right leg. Beginning to line our heels together. We're setting up for triangle pose, so extending the arms out to a T, extending our hips back as far as we can. Nice, and then beginning to reach down with that right palm, either to the right shin, maybe to the inside or outside of the right foot, setting up for a triangle pose. Nice, so our left arm stays exactly how it was before. Maybe gaze goes up to that left palm. Making sure we're not dumping into that right hand, maybe challenging yourself by sending that right arm out in front of you. Nice, and wherever you are, beginning to get super light on your back foot, maybe bending through that right leg. We're coming into half moon, so sending your right hand about a foot in front of you, lifting off that back foot entirely. Nice, opening up the hips. The hips should already be open, but making sure they're opened up towards the left side of the mat for a half moon posture. Maybe left palm is still, or left arm is still shooting outside of that left shoulder. Maybe gaze is up. Nice, holding here for one more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll bring that left hand down to the ground, squaring off the hips, so making sure our left toes are pointing down to the ground. Bringing our fingertips in line with that right foot. We're setting up for our warrior 3, grounded warrior 3. Nice, so folding over that right leg, trying to make that right leg super strong, super straight, rooting into the right big toe. Nice, maybe one day, chin to shin. Nice, we'll inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhaling here. Next inhale, maybe bending through that right leg, coming up to our stork pose. So left leg comes into our chest. Nice, we're gonna set up for dancer. So this is a lot on the right side, bear with me. We're gonna be in this, make sure our knees are in alignment with one another. You're going to bend your left leg so that your left heel is towards your left glute. Reaching back with your left arm. You're gonna grab the inside or the outside of the left foot. Beginning to pull it up. Sending our right arm out in front of us. Setting up for dancer pose. Nice, so any amount is good here. Nice. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. Trying to find something to focus on, a drishti point. Nice, and then gently releasing out of that, releasing your left leg to the ground. Nice, inhaling, palms up overhead. And exhaling, folding forward. We'll inhale, halfway lift. As we exhale, we either step or hop back, taking it through a flow. So inhaling forward on those toes. Exhale, lowering down halfway. Inhaling up for upward facing dog. And exhaling back for downward facing dog. Maybe taking a cleansing breath here, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling, sighing something out. Next inhale, left leg rises up for 3-point. We'll bring our knee to nose for cheetah. Nice, extending it back for 3-point. Bringing the knee in between, or the foot in between the palms. Setting up for a low runner's lunge, taking a moment here. Nice, and then gently lowering that back foot to about 90 degrees, making sure our front heel is in line with our back instep of the foot. Setting up for extended side angle, so maybe bringing that left forearm to the quadricep. Opening up the shoulders, maybe extending that right arm up, and then streamlining it overhead, whatever feels good to you. Making sure we're not dumping into that left leg. If you want to go a little further, if you did so on the other side, feel free to do so. And so we'll be here for about 2 more deep breaths. Inhale, rising up. Getting to straighten through that front leg. Bring our heels in line with one another. We need to send our hips back towards the back of the mat. Arms are out in a T. Begin to reach forward. And lower that left palm down. Setting up for triangle trikonasana. So maybe left palm comes to the shin. Maybe it comes to the inside or the outside of that front foot. Maybe gaze goes up towards the right thumb. If you have no neck issues. Making sure we're not dumping into that left side. If you're gonna challenge yourself a little bit more, you can take the left palm out from under you. Nice, we'll be here about 2 more breaths. And then gently getting super light on that back foot. Maybe bending into that left knee, sitting your left palm about a foot or so in front of you. Nice, opening up for our half moon posture. So our hips are opened up, our shoulders are opened up, our heart's opened up. Maybe that right arm is up towards the sky. Maybe it gazes up towards the thumb. Whatever feels good for you here. We'll be here for about 2 more breaths. The next exhale, beginning to lower that right palm down to the ground. We're squaring off the hips, squaring off the foot, setting up for a grounded warrior 3. So folding over that left leg, maybe chin to shin one day. Trying to get your fingertips in line with your left toes. Using your core here to go a little bit deeper in this fold. Nice, and then slowly, we'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling here. Nice, next inhale, rising up for stork. Bring our right knee into our chest. Maybe palms go up overhead. Setting up for dancer on this side. So bringing that right foot behind you, making sure our knees are in line as close together as we can get them. Rubbing the inside or outside of that foot with your right palm. Begin to slowly bring our weight forward as we kick and pull with the same force to that right leg. Nice, coming into dancer on this left side. Nice, holding here for 3 more breaths. Any amount is good. Using a drishti point, something to focus on. Nice, taking 1 more inhale. And then exhale, slowly releasing out of that. Nice, maybe shaking the legs out a bit. We'll inhale, palms up overhead. And then exhale, folding forward. Nice, inhale, halfway lifting. Coming into Padahastasana, so heel-toeing the feet 2 fist distance apart. We're placing our palms underneath our feet, so palms face up, back of the hands are on the ground. We'll inhale, halfway lift here. And as we exhale, we'll fold forward. Bringing the elbows to each side of the mat, bending the knees as much as you need to here. We've taken a lot of forward folds, so if you want to play with straightening the legs, feel free to do so. You can also play with balance here, maybe lifting one heel up off the ground, and then the other. Nice, we'll inhale, halfway lift. Undoing the bind, sorry. As we exhale, we'll begin to step our feet back. Listen closely here. We'll inhale, roll forward on the tops of our toes. As we exhale, we lower all the way down to the mat. Nice, so bringing our chest down to the mat. We're gonna take a few belly up back bends here. So we'll just take Cobra to start, really easy one. So bringing your palms right underneath your deltoids, keeping the tops of the feet, tops of the legs on the ground. Next inhale, we'll lift our chest up, using pure back strength here. Maybe beginning to walk the palms a little closer to the belly button. Nice, maybe even lifting the fingers off the ground. Taking one more in-breath here. And then exhale, lowering down. Nice, we'll take locust next. So keeping those toes together here. Unless you have low back issues, trying to keep those feet zipped up together. We're gonna send our palms behind us, face down on the mat. All right, this time, next inhale, we lift just our chest up to start. Exhaling here. Next inhale, the legs come up. Exhaling here, going for length, not height. Next inhale, maybe the arms come up. Maybe they bind, interlacing the fingertips, lifting your chest up just a little bit more, finding a little bit more length. Be here for one more inhale. And then exhale, lowering down. Maybe windshield wipering the legs. We're doing a lot of back extension today. Nice, so we've already prepared a lot for this, so we're gonna go ahead and take bow now. If this is too much for you, you can do one side at a time. But if not, we're gonna begin to bend our knees, bringing the heels as close to the glutes as you can. Beginning to send our arms back, maybe grabbing the outsides or the insides of the feet. Trying to zip those knees together. Taking a full breath here. Nice, next inhale, we'll begin to lift up the chest, keeping our feet back. So using our feet to lift the chest a little bit higher. Nice, coming into our bow pose. Nice, we'll be here for 3 more breaths. Try and stay with me. So good for your back. Taking one more inhale. And then exhale, releasing out of that. Nice, windshield wipering the legs side to side. Releasing the legs down. Bring your palms underneath you. Nice, either pushing all the way up to high plank if you want to here. If you want a little bit easier modification, you can just push back to child's. Sending your hips towards your heels. Nice, and then meeting the in downward facing dog. So tucking those toes underneath, sending the hips back. We'll all take a cleansing breath together, inhaling in through the nose. And exhale, sighing something out. Letting that go. Maybe coming back to breath, coming back to intention. Nice, next inhale, right leg rises up for 3-point. A little bit different this time. As we exhale, we'll bring knee to nose for cheetah. Nice. Inhale, extending it back for a three-legged plank. Nice, we're gonna lower down halfway. Nice, as we come back up, we'll bring that knee to nose again and set that foot down, setting up for our warrior one. If that's too confusing, just do cheetah to warrior one, it's no big deal. We'll inhale, rise up. Nice, maybe palms come together. Nice, releasing the hands behind your back. We'll interlace the fingers. We're coming into humble warrior. So inhale, opening up the chest. As we exhale, we fold on the inside of that right leg. Nice, so maybe trying to bring the palms together, trying to bring the hands closer to the ground. Nice, releasing the bind of the hands, framing that front foot, beginning to come into our grounded warrior three. Nice, we're gonna lift up here into our full Virabhadrasana three, warrior three if you want to. So lifting the palms up, maybe bringing palms to heart center, maybe taking airplane arms behind you. Or if you want to, a little bit more of a challenge, extending the arms out in front of you. Nice, making sure the hips are still squared off here. Our standing legs super strong. Nice, trying to make it as straight as we can. I know it's really hard, especially if you're really tight. We'll be here for one more breath. And next inhale, rising up into our stork. Nice, this time in our stork, we'll take our extended big toe hold. So maybe beginning to grab the big toe with that left palm or left these fingers. So if this is all you have, that's perfectly fine. If you want to begin to extend it out longer, you can do that. Nice, if there's a little bend in the knee, it's no big deal. We just want to make sure our shoulders are over our hips and they're squared off to the front of the mat. Nice, our standing leg is super strong. Choosing a drishti point, something to gaze at. Focus your attention to. Nice, and then keeping the leg wherever it is, we'll just release the bind. So using pure strength here. We'll hold it for another breath. Nice, and then beginning to bend that leg if it's not. Coming into Kundalini with a twist. So tucking that left knee behind the left or the right. Bring that left palm down to the ground, opening the right palm up towards the right side of the mat. I'm staying here for just one more breath. And then coming into this awkward lunge, we've done it before. If you've taken Carol's class, I know she does it. So sending that left leg or that left foot to the outside of outside of the right side of the mat. Nice, coming into like an easy twist, but it's a little funky. Nice, getting super strong and rooted in that right palm. Spinning onto the knife edge of your left foot. We're gonna come into a side plank here. Okay, so maybe extending that right foot all the way back, traditional side plank. Maybe taking a back bend, we've taken a lot, so if you wanna bring that foot, that right sole of the foot down to the ground, opening up the chest, nice, feel free to do so. Nice, we'll meet back in this high plank, so it's gonna, take a little walking around to get there. But meeting in a high plank on your mat, we'll inhale, roll forward, exhale, lower down halfway, inhaling up for upward facing dog, and exhaling back for downward facing dog. Nice, taking a cleansing breath here, inhaling in through the nose, and exhaling, sighing it out. Nice, coming to that same flow on our left side. We'll inhale the left leg up for 3-point, keeping the hips squared off here. Nice, coming into that kind of funky variation. We'll bring the left knee to nose for cheetah. Nice, extend it back for 3-legged plank, slowing down halfway. Inhaling back up for cheetah, and then setting that left foot down in between the palms. Extending the back foot to 45, opening up for warrior one. Nice, staying here for a breath. And then exhaling the hands behind the back, maybe interlacing the fingers. Inhale, opening up the chest. And exhale, humbling our warrior. Forward folding on the inside of that left leg. Taking one more inhale here. And as we exhale, we'll frame that front foot, setting up for our grounded warrior three. And then maybe lifting up into our full warrior three. taking whatever variation with the arms you want to. Nice, we'll be here for about 2 more of your strongest, deepest breaths. Nice, and then slowly we'll rise up into our stork. Bring our right knee to chest. Nice, setting up for a big toe hold. So taking your right peace fingers around your right big toe. If this is it, this is the pose, it's perfect. You want to start extending, maybe have a little bend in your knee, that's fine. Maybe we extend all the way to straight. Nice, choosing something to focus on, a drishti point. Nice, and then gently releasing the bind, keeping the foot exactly where it is. Using just strength here. Nice, holding for 1 more breath. And then exhaling back to Kundalini. So taking that right knee behind the left, placing the right palm on the ground, opening up the left arm. Maybe gaze goes up towards that left arm. Coming into our funky twist, sending that left foot to the outside, or sorry, right foot to the outside of the left side of the mat, the mouthful. Nice, and then opening up the arms, so left arm goes up, right arm's planted down. Maybe feeling this on the outside of that left hip or somewhere else. Nice, getting super rooted and strong in that right palm. Maybe rolling onto the knife edge of that right foot. We're gonna open up to our side plank. Nice, maybe it's just traditional side plank, it's perfect. Nice, maybe it's a back bend here, so taking that left sole of the foot to the ground. Nice, and wherever you are, just slowly meeting me back into a high plank. Nice, we'll inhale here, and then exhale. Send the hips back for a downward facing dog. Nice, inhaling, peeking up in between the wrists, the palms. We exhale, we'll make our way to Malasana. The feet come to about max width distance apart. Toes can be pointed out if your heels are lifting up. Nice, just widen your stance as much as you need to. We'll bring our palms to prayer at heart center. Maybe bringing those elbows to the insides of the legs. So pushing into the elbows with the legs and pushing the legs out with the elbows. Nice, just to get that sensation of like pulling our chest, opening our chest up. Setting into this deep yogi squat. Take another breath here. Nice, if you want to play with crow or bakasana, we'll have a few more breaths to play. Home practice is a great place to try and play with it. So if you have a really strong chaturanga, I encourage you to try it out. So just starting to kind of lift your heels up off the ground, bending through your arms into chaturanga arms. We'll gently set our knees on top of the forearms, maybe lifting one leg up, then the other leg. The trick to any arm balance in yoga is going forward, not being afraid to fall out of it. Nice, we'll be here for about 2 more breaths. So if you want to shoot back into chaturanga, or if you want to just come back to our malasana, we'll make our way through chaturanga. So wherever you are, sending the legs back to a high plank, lower down halfway. Inhaling to upward facing dog or cobra. And exhaling to downward facing dog. Nice, setting up for our last flow. We'll inhale that right leg up for 3-point. Nice, exhaling, bringing knee to elbow for mountain climber. Maybe flying here if you want to do so. Nice, inhaling, extending back out long. And exhaling, bring that foot in between the palms. Opening up to our warrior one. We've been here before. Nice, staying here for just a moment. Getting super light on that back foot, coming straight to our warrior 3. If you want to ground it here, you can. Nice, rising up into our stork. Taking a little bit different variation here. Coming into revolve big toe hold. So taking your right hand maybe to the outside of that quad, or maybe to the outside of that foot. Beginning to straighten out, opening up towards the left side of the mat. Nice, maybe gaze goes back towards that left palm. Nice, a little bit different variation here. We'll be here for about 2 more breaths. And then gently releasing that, coming back into our stork. So another fun, different variation, coming into revolve dancer pose. So bringing that left foot behind you, bringing the heel to the glute. This time we reach back with our right hand, grabbing the outside of the right foot, or the left foot with the right palm. Nice, and this time, coming into our dancer, so feeling the difference here. It's a little bit more challenging. Nice, any amount is good. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. The next exhale, gently releasing out of that. Nice, maybe shaking out the legs, inhaling, palms up overhead, and exhaling, folding forward. Nice, inhaling, halfway lifting, and exhale, taking it through a flow, maybe adding in a jump back, a float back, a handstand, maybe adding in a child's pose, whatever feels good. Meeting me in down dog. Nice, taking a cleansing breath here, inhaling in through the nose, and exhaling, sighing that out. Next inhale, left leg rises for 3-point. As we exhale, we'll bring knee to elbow for mountain climber, maybe flying here. Then extending that leg back out. Nice, bringing that foot in between the palms. Rising up for our warrior 1. We've been here before. Staying here just for a breath. And then lifting up to our warrior 3. Taking whatever variation with the hands you wish to do. Nice, taking 2 more breaths in this warrior 3. And then gently rising up into that stork. Nice, bringing right knee into chest. Setting up for our revolve big toe hold. So taking that left palm, maybe to the outside of the right leg, maybe to the outside of the right foot. Bringing the leg out. Maybe right palm goes towards the back of the mat, maybe gaze goes towards the back of the mat. And staying here for about 3 more deep breaths. And then setting up for our revolve dancer pose. So bringing our knees in line with one another. Right heel towards your right glute. Reaching back to the outside of that right foot. And then gently coming into revolve dancer. So pushing that top of the foot into the hand, hand into the top of the foot. Right arm comes forward. Nice, it's a really challenging pose. Be here for 3 more breaths. The next exhale, releasing out of that, maybe shaking the legs. Nice, inhaling, palms up overhead. As we exhale, we'll come back into that tight little ball we found at the beginning of class. Rounding through everything. We did a ton of extension today. So really feeling that rounding through the spine. Every back bend we did, we found a curve in the spine. Nice, inhaling, letting the knees come down to the ground. We'll set up for a toe stretch here. So tucking our toes underneath the mat. Nice, inhaling, palms up overhead. Maybe interlacing the fingers, sending the palms up towards the sky. We'll inhale, lengthen through the spine here. As we exhale, we lean over towards the right. Maybe gazing underneath that left armpit. Inhaling back up to center. And exhaling over towards the left. Inhaling back up to center. Exhaling, releasing the palms. Then one more breath, just good for your toes, your feet. And then releasing out of that, maybe tapping out the tops of the feet. Nice. Sitting your to each corner of the mat. So if you can, if this is accessible to you, sitting your glutes down in between your legs. You can go ahead and extend your right leg out long. Okay, if you guys can still hear me, I just got a internet connection. Okay, so we're coming into your rose pose. Okay, so if this is good for you, we're staying here. If we have more space, you can begin to walk the palms back, maybe coming down onto the forearms. Maybe one day, eventually, bringing our shoulder blades down to the ground. If you only have one leg extended, don't worry. I'll tell you when we're halfway there. You can switch the legs. If you have that one leg extended, go ahead and switching the legs. So if your right leg is extended out long, tucking it behind you, extending the left leg, getting back into our hero's pose. We'll be here for about 4 more deep breaths, evening out that side. Nice, and then slowly, wherever you are, beginning to come back up. So lifting the glutes up, bringing the shins together. We'll spin the shins out in front of us, setting up for Paschimottanasana, so our seated forward fold. We'll inhale the palms up overhead. As we exhale, we'll begin to fold forward, keeping the length in the spine for at least an in-breath. And then maybe on your next exhale, you can fold forward, bring chin to shin maybe. Any amount is good. Your knees can even be bent here. So if you want to take this out of the legs, bending your knees and finding that round in the spine. Nice, and then inhaling up halfway. We'll exhale here, finding strength in the spine. And inhaling all the way up. Nice, beginning to bend through your knees. Nice, we're just going to slowly lower down onto the spine. Kind of finishing the same way we started. So taking that right foot, that right ankle on top of the left leg. Setting up for our reclined pigeon. So just taking a moment to notice the difference between now and the start of class. Maybe your hips are more open. Nice, and then letting those legs fall to the left side of the mat. Into our spinal twist here. If you want to take a different variation of the twist, feel free to do so. And gently bringing our legs back into center. We'll switch the bind of the legs, so bringing that left ankle on top of the right quad. coming into that reclined pigeon. So maybe interlacing the fingers behind the right quad or on top of the right shin. Nice, and then letting the legs fall over towards that right side, coming into the spinal twist. And then gently coming back.